Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rapidi webinar about data integration. Today, we'll be diving into the world of maximizing business energy and exploring the powerful integration between Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. I am Serene, I'm sales consultant here at Rapidi. Of course, I'm excited to be your host for today. And here with me, my colleague Andrea. Andrea is a data integration consultant, and she will guide you through the essential aspects of Rapidi innovative solution and, of course, of everything regarding the integration. So let's go through today's agenda. So today we will have an introduction to Rapidi so that you know who we are, what we do. We will discuss the importance of integration. We will go through Rapidi integration solutions. Then I will tell you about some of our customer testimonials and I will explain how you can get started with us. In the end, we will have a Q&A session, so we prepared some common questions, but please free to write all of your doubts in the chat and Andrea and I will go through them and help you understand everything. So let's start with first section, which is our company profile to understand who is Rapidi and what we do. So Rapidi has over 30 years of data integration expertise, especially between Salesforce and Dynamics. Our journey as data integration experts started back then when Microsoft was still called Navision. It was a very small group back then, and our CEO and founder, Michael Bock, was part of that group. Michael is still playing an important role at Rapidi today. So, in Rapidi, we can integrate any variety of solution to meet your unique business need, not only Salesforce and Microsoft. What's setting us apart in Rapidi? So we have flexible, simple, robust, and complete solution. We are using the cutting-edge cloud technology with no programming required. And we also offer a complete solution. We are offering support all the way during all the implementation process, which is something specific about Rapidi. We also have extensive knowledge in data integration and also in the system that we integrate. This means that we can advise you about the common business processes that would make sense to integrate. So our worldwide customers are evaluating us with the highest rate. They're extremely satisfied about Rapidi solution and support. And we believe that at Rapidi, we do not only integrate data, we also integrate success. And now we would like to hand over to Andrea. Andrea will delve into the importance of integration and how Rapidi can ensure seamless and efficient integration. Andrea?
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so then we'll cover this part, which is importance of integration. So from our perspective, we think that an integration in general should be simple, and it should not give you any kind of headaches or any issues along the way. And speaking of that, we have to ask ourselves, why do you need to integrate systems in general? Well, in here you'll see these 4 buckets. And these are the main reasons. First of all, we talk about collaboration. When you integrate your systems, then you get to activate all that customer or transactional data that you have, and this will give you this full customer overview. And then you allow teams to collaborate even better. The second bucket is about efficiency, and I think that's definitely a very important piece. Because when you integrate systems, then you don't have double data entries, then you don't have switching between systems. You get to eliminate rework, and then in the end, you will have a certain level of process automation. And then the third bucket would be about quality. So once you get to have everything stabilized, right, then you will be able to get your data into both systems. So this means that the data will be consistent, right? You get data that's consistent, you can trust it, and then you can build reports on it, and then you have this increased user adoption. And the last part is about growth. So you get to have better decision support, then your customers are more satisfied with how things are running. And then, of course, you get to sell more and faster. And why is it important? So, first of all, you get to have your business processes streamlined, right? You do get this data synchronization in place. So it means that no matter what system you're using, then you can send from your source system to the destination any type of data, and you have it available immediately, right? So then you improve decision making and then productivity, which is again important for end users. And then you reduce or eliminate data silos, any manual process that you have right now. And then you also eliminate communication gaps between those teams that use those systems. The main idea is to integrate your systems so then you can actually be more successful. So having data available in both systems instantly, then you are definitely able to actually be more productive and then get rid of all those, let's say, data issues or inconsistent data in your system. The next part is about the Rapidi data integration solutions. So as I mentioned before, we think that an integration in general should be made easy, should be at least straightforward for any company. And that being said, Rapidi is an innovative iPaaS platform. So we want to make sure that things are simple. And we talk about design and installation and use. So Rapidi is a cloud-based system. So we do have our pre-configured mapping templates that can be used, because in this way, you will be able to get value faster out of your integration. And of course, we do have extensive expertise when it comes to integrating, the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce or other CRMs, but our work is not limited to that. And of course, speaking of that part, so here we have the most common endpoints, and I think these are the most common ones where there's really a demand for them. But for sure, there are so many other systems on the market that you maybe are using right now and you want to integrate. So as you can see here, we work quite a lot with the Microsoft ERPs. We do work with Salesforce, HubSpot, with Oracle databases, SQL databases, then any other products that are on the market. And of course, if your system is not here, doesn't mean that we don't support it. I think it's just a question of understand how we would connect to it and how we would be able to have access to your data and transfer it to the other system. And of course, when we talk about the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce, we have to mention that Rapidi is an iPaaS with no staging of your data, so it's easy to be set up. You don't need to be a programmer or a developer or a technical person. We can connect multiple systems or multiple companies, and you can actually transfer any type of data. It can be standard, custom, anything. And our subscriptions are all inclusive in the sense that you get the whole package in there, and then you get to benefit from that, forever, so to speak. And here we'll talk about the data flows. So previously I mentioned about those pre-configured mapping templates. So those are templates that we have built based on recommendations, based on best practices, right? So when it comes to the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and Salesforce, there are specific or standard scenarios that we see. And here on the screen, you would see those standard situations. So we are talking about master data, right? Such as accounts and contacts, which can be transferred both ways. So if you have master data that needs to be transferred to and from your ERP, then you can do that without any issues, because we have those templates available and can be used if necessary. And then we also talk about products in Salesforce, which would be items in your ERP, product prices. Of course, you also want to maintain that. And then, for example, if we have opportunities in Salesforce, those can be sent over to your ERP as sales orders. And then once you have a new sales order into your ERP, you can also send it back to Salesforce. So there's always this back and forth that can happen between the systems if you need that to happen, obviously. And then, of course, we have the if we have invoices, credit memos, and then we have ledger entries. So what you see here, these are the most common scenarios that we have, and there are so many companies that actually have this type of process. But of course, if you have something different, if you're using custom objects, then that's really no difference for us, because we can adjust the mapping templates and we can make sure that all the data is going into the object that you have right now configured in Salesforce. And the same thing applies to your ERP. You might have custom pages, so that's fine because we can redirect all the data to go into that specific custom page. And next, this would be a quote to cash example. Again, this is a standard scenario and you might have it or not, but of course, there are so many companies that actually have this entire process set up. So we talk about the lead that's converted, and then we have the quote which is accepted, you have the order invoiced, and then the invoice gets paid. So when you start with the lead, the next in line would be the account and contact, right? So you get to have that in Salesforce, and you want to have this information also in your ERP. So you can send that over to your ERP with all the data that you need. And then let's say you have a new opportunity. So the opportunity gets closed, for example. So it goes into a specific stage. So in that situation, you want to have a sales order created. So that can be transferred to your ERP as a sales order, and then you have it available. And then if you want, you can send it back to Salesforce and have a list of all those open sales orders. And of course, between sales orders, from your ERP and Salesforce, you can always send updates, for example, or any changes that have been made. And next would be payments, and then we have invoices and credit notes. They go from your ERP to Salesforce. So you can have all that sent over, so you have a list with all those transactions. So this would be the typical business scenario, so to speak. And adding to that, we would have products, of course, from Salesforce, items in your ERP, and the prices, right? Because you also need to have that maintained. And any other custom object or page that you might have, and that needs to be included in this scenario here. But I think this would be more or less the standard scenario for this quote to cash example. Now we'll cover the Rapidi's key functionalities. So we have here a few. So first one will be data mapping and transformation. We have real-time synchronization. We have customization and scalability, automated workflow, security measures, and monitoring and analytics. So we'll go through them one by one. When we say data mapping and transformation, we are referring to the fact that you can map and transform data without major effort between your ERP and Salesforce. You can use the pre-built mapping templates, right? But you can also adjust them so they meet your own business processes, right? So if you have specific requirements as part of that, if you have a standard scenario, you can use them as they are, and then they will not need any adjustments. However, if you have something that's more customized, then you can still use them and adjust and modify according to what you need. So most of the work is done, basically. You just need to make sure that it aligns with what you have right now in your company. And of course, we do provide support for if you have custom fields or custom objects. So it gives you the flexibility that you need in order to actually transfer data from one system to another. So the idea is that we offer an intuitive data mapping interface, which will allow you to customize any transfer, any data flow at any point in time. The next one would be about real-time synchronization. So of course, you do have your systems, but you also need to make sure that they are updated and that the data is the same in both systems. So via this synchronization, you can ensure that your systems are up to date and all teams will see the same thing. This means that you'll get immediate updates on, customers, opportunities, orders, whatever you have, and then you minimize data latency. So of course, having the systems connected and talking to each other, then everything you have, in your ERP will go to your CRM. So this means that everybody will see the same thing. So you don't have to wait for someone to do something. The next part is about customization and scalability. We covered this a bit, and we said that you have flexibility and you can customize your setup and your transfers at any point in time. And of course, this means that we can adapt to any type of business processes that you might have. So scalability is also given to companies of all sizes. So we talk about small companies or huge enterprises. It doesn't really matter, because we can ensure that for all of them. And customization can be made based on your specific needs. If you're part of a specific industry where you need, very customized setup, then that's fine. We can definitely handle that without issues. And then if we talk about automated workflows, so Rapidi's automated workflows will streamline the business processes. So this means that if you have all these repetitive and manual tasks, they will get automated. So you don't really have to put a lot of effort into it, and you minimize errors, right? So as long as the systems talk to each other, then you'll definitely get rid of all these errors or any inconsistent data. And of course, you have the flexibility to make any changes and to customize your setup in case you need to do that. So you have this freedom to do it at any point in time. Then the next part is about security measures, and we are committed to data security and compliance because we want to make sure that our customers feel confident about the safety of their data, and that they don't worry about what will happen with the data, what if we have this breach, and all those things. So we do have quite a lot of encryption protocols, access controls, and many other security features. And then the last part would be about monitoring and analytics. So on every integration, we do have the monitoring and analytics section, right? So that's the place where you can track your integration performance. So you can get statistics about how things are going, how everything about your transfers or the data flows, how if they need a lot of time to run, if there are any bottlenecks or issues. So you can easily spot those if you look at the statistics and at that specific section, and this will give you the opportunity to investigate further and see what can be done in order to have a better performance. As you know, when you integrate to systems, you have to make sure that your source system, right, has the right capabilities to actually transfer all that data, and there's really no timeouts or anything like that. And the destination system has to be able to accept, right, let's say a higher load of data if necessary. So it always goes back to source and destination. But of course, within Rapidi, we can find ways to make sure that the performance is okay. We can find ways that can be implemented so that everything runs smoothly. And next section, we have a sneak peek into some of our functionalities. We just listed a few, but there are definitely more than that. So here we have data flow actions. The idea is that when you decide to integrate to systems, you have to think about the action, meaning what you want to do with that data. Do you want to create new records into the destination? Do you want to update them? Do you want to delete them, for example? So there are different ways that that can be used and implemented on this transfer. Of course, as soon as you know what you want to do, then you just select it, and then the transfer will do that for you based on the information that you provide. The next part is about link storages. So link storages are those dynamic lookup tables. So lookup tables, I think, as we know, they store information. But in this case, we are talking about dynamic lookup tables, meaning that they are being updated when the transfer is running. So if the transfer, for example, is running right now and you are sending customer information from your ERP to your CRM, then also the link storage will be automatically updated with that information. So it's something that's not maintained manually, so it's not something that you have to take care of. We actually write the values into the table whenever the transfer runs, and we also update them if needed. So this is a very good functionality for those companies that want to keep track of those records that are being transferred. If we say I want to have the customers from my ERP sent over to Salesforce, then in the link storage you can get to see the customer number from your ERP, and then on the right side you would see the Salesforce ID, for example, for that specific let's say customer. So you get to see this one-to-one relationship, which and this information is very useful because you can use it in order to actually run other transfers. But of course, that's a different conversation. But just so you know that this is a very good way to have all this information populated in here. Then the last functionality on the list would be tags. So tags, these are more like parameters or variables that can be set up. You can do that at the connection level or even at the transfer level. So it's a way for you to transfer data from multiple ERP companies to Salesforce, for example. So as you know, in any of the Microsoft ERPs, you need to have an instance for every single company, right? If you have 10 companies, you have 10 instances. So when you when you want to transfer data, you have to connect to each of those instances because they're separate. But in Salesforce, for example, you only have one org, right? So the tags, they will help you to actually retrieve the data from all those companies in your ERP, right, and send it over to Salesforce without needing to have 10 different transfers. So what they do, this tag, so a tag would be, let's say, this unique variable that you set up for every company, and they will be included in the transfer. So have a master transfer through which all those companies are running. So all the data of that belongs to those companies will run through the transfer and will be sent over to Salesforce. And yeah, because you have differences between the source and destination when it comes to how a company is being set up. But of course, there are so many different other scenarios that can be used when it comes to tags. But yeah, those will have to be discussed whenever we are working on the integration. So just to summarize, we do offer, like I said, Microsoft ERPs and Salesforce integrations. And I think this is a very common request. But of course, we also integrate we do integrations between the same Microsoft Dynamics products, right? We can talk about like Business Central to Microsoft Sales or Navision to Sales or any other system. What we have is a cost-effective, so it's a scalable business model. So, and then when it comes to data integration, you can integrate both cloud and on-premise systems. So if you have a cloud system, that's, definitely better. But if you have a system that's on-premise, maybe older versions, that also can be done because we do have quite a lot of experience in that area. We have robust development tools, and the mapping templates, as I mentioned, can be used if needed. They're a starting point for any company, and it's approachable for non-IT users, meaning that you don't need to have specialized resource to handle all of this. And post go live, you don't need someone with programming experience to handle issues or to troubleshoot. I think as long as you go through testing accordingly and you understand how your transfers are being set up, then anyone is good to actually maintain the integration. I think that's it. Back to you, Serene.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, so before we go to the next section, I'd like to give a summary of what we offer you as a Rapidi customer. So at Rapidi, we consider what we offer as an all-inclusive investment model. So as a Rapidi customer, you'll get access to the integration platform, also to the integration templates, and to the support. So when it comes to the integration platform, it comes with integration configuration. You have access to advanced data toolbox, access to log and notification, monitoring, and the Rapidi connector. And when talking about the integration templates, they are complete business processes. They are already pre-configured. They come with best practices. They are customizable, and of course, come with detailed documentation. And then the most important point is the support. So our support will help you maintain the integration. You can add fields to existing transfers, and you have access to the integration advisory. And also, of course, you can resolve any data errors that come across you. And this is included in subscription. So here we would like to mention that we offer a partnership that goes beyond integration. So Rapidi is committed for your sustained success, and we are also committed to be alongside you in every step of the way. And now I'd like to go to the next section, which is the customer testimonials. So at Rapidi, we are proud to announce that Rapidi has achieved the exceptional 5 stars average in both Salesforce App Exchange for the overall experience and also in our support feedback platform over the last 5 years. We have the privilege to serve satisfied customers worldwide through various industries, and today I would like to spotlight one of these success stories, and it's the Educate 360 case story. So you'll see in these slides, I'll be sharing some of the reviews. These are real reviews that you can find in the App Exchange, and it's reflecting the commitment of our customers and how happy they are, of course. So here they say they would absolutely recommend Rapidi, and they say, I could not imagine our business without Rapidi because the system is very reliable and flexible. Rapidi makes life as IT person so much easier. So this is coming from the IT department, obviously. Okay, so who's Educate 360? So that you get an overview about the company. So Educate 360 offer integrated learning and development solutions in management and leadership, data science, and also in IT. So here we're talking about a trusted industry leader with a long history, and they went through the acquisition of several brands such as Project Management Academy that was established in 2009. So what's their mission? Their mission is to empower individuals and organizations with skills for success in technology-driven and innovative economy. So this company is providing flexible training programs for all the levels. And of course, they also provide on-demand training via learning management system. And they specialize in certification preparation, business analysis, skill-based training, with the goal to enhance organizational efficiency, alignment, and business outcomes. And now we'll go through some of the challenges that they got before Rapidi. So one of the biggest challenges that they had when they got the acquisition and system disparity is that Educate 360 acquired several brands, as I mentioned before, and these brands operated on different customer management systems, including a homegrown system. We have also, as a second point, the integration issues with Microsoft Business Central. So the accounting department used Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, and they needed an integration. The custom-built APIs for integration with Microsoft Business Central posed some significant challenges. And then they also had the need for improved integration solutions. So existing solution failed to meet their needs because they had in the past highly customized setup and high transaction volume. So there was a need also to explore alternative integration service platforms to find a viable solution. And they also had the need for Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales integration, as they acquired another company that was still using Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales as their CRM. And now I'm going to go through how we change all of this. And here they say Rapidi is the way to go, is the most cost-effective solution on the market, and it just works. So what happened after implementation and impact? So we had transformed operational capabilities supported by Rapidi's expert team for customization, streamlined data flow and automated processes, reduced manual workloads and enhanced operational efficiency, and also an impact of successful integration with better management of orders, customer information, and product data, opportunities for growth by incorporating new brands and offering seamlessly. And now we will discuss some of the achievements and benefits they had through this integration. So first point is enhanced operational capabilities by transformation of operational processes. The expert supports by the customization aided by Rapidi's expert team, streamline data flow, improving the data flow and the automated processes. We increase their efficiency by reducing the manual workloads and enhancing the operational efficiency. The data accrued in integrity, as now they have real-time synchronization, ensured consistent and up-to-date data. Operational scalability, it's the scalable solution for adding new brands and services, facilitating growth. Improved management, it's the better handling of orders, customer information, and product data. Growth opportunities, which is the seamless incorporation of new brands and offering, facilitating expansion. Then we have also the increased operational agility, which is the flexibility for adapting to business change and integrating new processes. We also reduce their dependency on manual processes, working on the automation, minimized reliance on manual intervention. And then we have the better decision making, as now they have real data access supported improved decision making. And finally, future growth support, which laid groundwork for integration of additional support like Dynamics 365 Sales and HubSpot without complex programming. And I think was duplicated. And now we have the results, which is the unlocking of new dimensions of operational excellence. I think I'm going a little bit through the same topics. So last slides here for this case story. I would like to end by another quote. So this is from Kevin Gilmore, who's the Director of Information Technology at Educate 360, who worked closely to our IT team. So he says, I highly recommend Rapidi to anyone facing integration challenges. Its performance, reliability, and support have been outstanding. Rapidi isn't just a tool, it's a partner in our growth, and this is also how we define ourselves. And now, next section, I would like to tell you how you can get started with us. So it's really easy. All you need to do is go to our website, fill in the contact form with your contact details, any information you have about your project, whether you're interested to be Rapidi customer or partner. And of course, we will be back to you and we will get into a call as soon as we can. Then, as soon as we decide to start collaborating together, this is what we call our implementation process. This is our 5-phase approach so that we can ensure a smooth and successful integration. So we would start with the discovery, which is the integration project scope validation and the project kickoff. Then we would go to the onboarding, which is basically onboarding you into our Rapidi platform and our online collaboration platform. Here we use Basecamp. Then we would move to configuration, which is the integration configuration on our Rapidi platform and be end user tested. Then we have the deploy to production, which is the initial data synchronization, upload of historical data, and the actual cutover to the production environment. And finally, we have the transition to support, which is the post-go live support, the project closer, and transition to the operational support. And now that we went through almost everything, it's time for your questions. So I don't see any question in the chat for now. So I will go through some questions that we prepared. And if you have any doubts in the meantime or remember any question that you have, please write them down in the chat and we will go through them. I'll be checking. Okay, Andrea. So this is one of the most common questions that we normally get. So people ask, when shall we start our integration when considering to upgrade from NAV to BC?
Yeah, so this is definitely a very common question because nowadays we are seeing companies moving away from older Navision versions to Business Central, right? And then the question is, okay, I have Navision, but I'm planning to move to Business Central. I'm somewhere in between, so what do I do? The answer here is that you can integrate your current Navision because as soon as your Business Central is up and running, you can move to it without any issues. And I'm saying this because everything you have in Navision is quite similar to what you will have in Business Central. So if you set up an integration between, let's say, Navision and Salesforce or other CRM, you'll have everything mapped and set up correctly. Then when Business Central is ready, you can simply reuse the same integration, adjust it a bit to what Business Central has, and then you can use it as it is. So you don't have to go back to square one and do all that work. What we usually do, so with those customers that have the Navision Salesforce integration, for example, we go live, they use it as it is. And in parallel, they are working on their upgrade, right, to Business Central. And then once that's ready, we also work in parallel on the Business Central Salesforce integration. So we do that. And then once Business Central is ready and you can say, okay, we can use that, then we turn off the Navision Salesforce integration and we actually turn on the other one. So it's a very smooth transition. And if we're talking about the work that has to be done, the effort is very low if you do that. I mean, that's something that we do get quite a lot, and it works really well for, all the companies that we have dealt with so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see a question in the chat from Amin. Hello, Amin. He's asking if we can give a demo on how to use tags. I'm not sure if we have time, Andrea, for today's webinar, but maybe we can schedule something for the next coming days.
Yeah, so I mean, I think tags are really interesting and they're really good to be used. And I think maybe sometimes it confuses you about, the reason why you would use them. And I think it needs to have a completely separate demo, so to speak. So then if you want a demo, if you want to, I can have like a platform demo, including tags, but that has to be done separately. So you can reach out to us. You'll have our contacts, I think, at the end of the webinar, and then we can schedule one and I can walk you through the tags or any other functionality.
Yeah. Okay, so Amin is saying that it would be nice to have a technical webinar. Yeah, we like having feedback.
Yeah, so I think we had a few months ago a more technical webinar. So I had more of a demo, which was scheduled, and we had a lot of existing and new customers joining. So I did this full walkthrough. So if that's something that you would like, then we'll take it as a feedback and organize something soon.
Yes, and even if your organization is already client of Rapidi, you're more than welcome to have a call anytime, and we can go through all of your doubts. No worries about that.
But yeah, I think that would be a good webinar, next webinar to organize and go through those functionalities and show you how they are being set up and how you use them. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens that some people join a company that is already a customer of Rapidi and they don't really know how everything is going. So please reach out. I'll reach out to you and we will figure it out.
Perfect.
Next question. What would the process be if I decide to change my CRM?
Yeah, so I think that's also a common scenario that we are seeing right now. There are companies that use a specific CRM right now and they decide to move away from it and use something else. So then the question is, okay, what do I do with the integration? So if that's one question for customers that already have an integration, right? But also for new customers that are, again, somewhere in between. So in this situation, so if you're an existing customer, right, then the current integration can be repurposed for the new CRM because you don't really need to put a lot of effort into doing that. It's more effort on the customer side on making sure that the new CRM is set up and has everything in there. And then for new customers, if customers are new customers say, oh, we want to integrate our ERP with the CRM, but we want to change it at some point, then we can definitely work on that integration initially and then just repurpose it. The thing is that for the most common CRMs, we have mapping templates. So this means that if you had, I don't know, one CRM now, you would get the templates that we have. But then if you change it to something else, you also have other templates. So it's just switching around and making sure that you are using the right type of data. So yeah, it's not a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's just deciding, when you want to do it, and then we can make sure that the transition is smooth.
Awesome, Andrea. Okay, next question. How to set up your data integration project in 3 steps?
So here, it's very important, first of all, to define the integration scope. So you have to think what you want to do, what you want to transfer. If we talk about master data, if we talk about transactions, or any type of data. So that's one. And then second, you have to, of course, connect to those systems from Rapidi, right? If you talk about a specific ERP, so let's say Business Central, we connect to it and we have to make sure that we have the right permissions, right? Because access has to be provided. And then the second part is about the CRM, right? In this case, let's say Salesforce, again, permissions, access, we need to have that. As long as we have the right access, then we will be able to see your data. So we will access the pages you have in your ERP and the objects that you have in your CRM. And then once we are able to connect to your systems, then we allow systems to talk to each other. So via the mapping templates that we have, we can start running tests. So we can see how data is being sent from your ERP into Salesforce, what you see, what's the outcome. So of course, that's a very important piece, making sure that the data flows correctly from one system to another. So this would be, those 3 steps. But of course, I think an integration project is more than that, but these are the most important pieces.
Thank you. We have more questions here.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we deal with the integration if we have plans to roll it out to other countries? This is really common.
Yeah, so then there are situations when you can say, I want to work on this integration. So I have this US entity in my ERP and then send this over to Salesforce. And then later on, you have new countries, new entities in different countries. So you need to have this rollout done. So then this can be done, this can be easily done actually, and can be included in the current integration. So basically, if you set up the first integration between one entity and Salesforce, then you can add more to it within the same integration. You just need to connect to that second entity, because as you know, in any ERP on the Microsoft side, you have to connect separately to each one of them. You connect to it. Well, we can make sure we have access to all your data, and then we just include it in the setup, and then everything works. So it's not, I mean, you don't really have to do the same work that you would do when you first, you have this first setup in place for
Mhm.
the main entity. So when you have the first one, that's when you do everything. And then the next 10, 20, 30, then you just include them within the integration, and then the data will be sent over without any issues.
Awesome. Okay, next one is why should we choose Rapidi integration platform instead of building integration by ourselves?
Yeah, so I think that's also a question, a very valid question that we got, because there are situations when company want to build something by themselves. So it's like an in-house software product that they will want to use. And of course, when that happens, I think from our perspective, it's just a personal choice. It's like some, let's an internal decision of the company that is willing to actually cover all those expenses, those resources, and the time spent on doing that. But then, if we were to think about efficiency, and of course, if you want to think about all the money that you spend on that, then I think you would prefer to use a product that has proven to work, such as Rapidi, right? Because if you say, I want to have this integration completed, you do it via Rapidi, it's up and running. So you don't really need to do any type of development. You don't need to go through this discovery, and you don't really run, you don't run into any issues or challenges, right? So it's cost effective, it's scalable. So you get everything that you need. And of course, it's efficient. So you get everything done in a very short period of time. But when you build something yourself, of course, like I said, it's something that the company is willing to invest in. And of course, that's something that can take a lot of time, and that involves a lot of learning, a lot of discovery, and a lot of specialized resources. So yeah, I think in today's world, we all want to be efficient and do things fast. So I think, why not go for a product that works without any type of issues instead of spending so much time on building something internally?
Makes sense. Okay, next question is how to ensure the best data mapping.
Yeah, so here I think when you start an integration, it doesn't really matter what the systems are. You have to think about how data is being structured in both systems and how they are being actually displayed. So, for example, as you all know, in Salesforce, you have the possibility to customize everything. So you can set up any type of customizations, restrictions, anything around the data. And then if we talk about the Dynamics ERPs, then you don't really have that much freedom, right? But if you have it, you can also, I mean, if it's possible, you can also do it. The idea is that if you set up restrictions in your CRM, all kinds of restrictions, then you have to make sure that you also do it in your ERP, because I mean, if in your ERP everything is like a free text field, for example, and doesn't really, you don't really limit in any way what the data that's being added there, then you'll have issues on the other side in Salesforce, where you do have those restrictions, and Salesforce will reject those records or entries where your data does not meet their requirements. So it's important to make sure there's a balance between the customization level in one system and the customization level in the other system, and the level of the let's say restrictions or anything that you might have. So make sure that you have it in both systems, or don't have it at all. So if you say, okay, in my ERP I cannot do anything, then just try to do the same in your CRM. Otherwise, the integration will not perform well, because we send data to Salesforce, but Salesforce will reject it. And the same thing can happen for your ERP. So make sure that you are very aware of how everything is configured and set up. And actually be very aware of that before you actually go into production and allow the data to flow into your CRM.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Okay, next question. Okay, Why should we choose Rapidi integration platform instead of using other standard integration tools?
Yeah, so I think here it's important to mention that while using Rapidi, you do get to have transparency. So you know from the very beginning what you get. So you will know what the integration scope is, what we actually will be working on. You will know what's included in, the total cost of that. So you will not have any type of additional costs added later on, which can happen quite often with other integration tools where you get to pay, on an hourly basis or something like that, and you don't really know what the final cost would be. And then when it comes to standard integrations in general, we do have the templates that can be used. So those are pre-configured, pre-built, and they can be adjusted and modified. So it doesn't mean that we offer you the templates as they are and they cannot be modified or changed. No, you can. You can use them as they are, or you can just change them so they meet your requirements. On the other side, other standard integration tools, so those platforms that provide you with this integration, this standard integration might give you just specific templates. So you have a specific template, you have to use it as it is, and then you cannot extend it or modify it or include custom fields, for example. Right, so that's a huge difference because we call it standard, but it's standard because it's built based on standard scenario, but it doesn't mean that you cannot change it.
Okay.
So that's very important. And of course, support. In our case, as soon as the customer is a Rapidi customer, right? Then you work on the integration, and then you go live. And post go live, you get to have support. So you get specialized support from our team in case you have issues, in case something is happening with your integration or your setup, or if you need to make minor changes and all those things. So you will get a very fast response from the team, and you will not need to wait for someone to provide you with an answer or help you with that. So support is included. It's not an additional service. So it's part of your contract. So you will benefit from it. Whereas if we talk about other integration tools, you most probably don't have that level of support offered to you in the contract. So you will need to actually have a separate contract and pay for it separately.
Mhm. Thank you, Andrea. Okay. Why it's best to be prepared when handling errors?
Yeah, so I think as soon as you start testing, then that's the moment when you should get used to any type of error messages that you would get. Salesforce provides very detailed error messages, so they definitely help you to understand where the problem is and adjust those records. So 95% of the error messages are linked to bad data usually. So it's just data that's coming through and that doesn't meet the Salesforce requirements. So it's something that will need to be adjusted either in the source or in the destination. It very much depends where that data is. So if you get used to those error messages and you understand what they mean, then as soon as you go into production, you will be able to troubleshoot yourself if needed. Of course, if you get like very cryptic error messages from somewhere or anything like that, you do have support, you can reach out. But I think for data related errors, you can definitely handle everything by yourself, and you can make sure that everything is done correctly. So just to summarize, you have to do it early in the early stages of testing throughout UAT, so that in production you are good to go and you can handle everything.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, we have two more questions here. Uh, we get this a lot. So, which system does Rapidi support?
So we had a slide earlier and we looked at the most common endpoints, and I think they're slightly different because we say the most common endpoints because those are the most common ones that that we have worked with, and there's a demand for it. And then the system that we support the ones that you saw there, but also we can support other systems. However, we would need to know, okay, how we connect to it, what kind of connection is supported by your system, and what would be the documentation for that specific ERP or CRM. So we did get requests from customers regarding new systems, and we have worked on supporting that system, and then we were able to integrate, for example. So we are always willing to expand our list and work with other systems, but we just need to know your specific ERP or CRM, and then we can definitely work on it.
Awesome. Last question. Do you support custom objects?
Yeah, so I think this is something that a very common question, and the answer, yeah, the short answer is yes, because for us it doesn't really matter if you have custom or standard objects. I think for us it's more like, okay, if we are able to connect to your system, if we have the right permissions and we can read those objects, then that's fine for us. We can work on the integration without any issues. So yeah, so you can, if you have only custom objects, that's fine, you can use them. But yeah, in any case, there's no limitation regarding the custom objects or even the custom fields. Yep.
Great. Okay, no more question, Andrea. Yeah, okay. So as we covered up today's agenda and webinar, first of all, I would like to say thank you for attending. We invite you to visit our website, check everything we have there. You will find detailed solution overviews, you'll get compelling case stories, informative fact sheets, and comprehensive documentation. So you can go through it. If you have any doubts, question, we are here all the time, anytime. We'll also be happy if you can follow us on our social media. You will see that we share interesting information on LinkedIn. We communicate the webinars, and of course, so that you can register if you can attend. That's awesome. Otherwise, you can watch it after. Yeah, it's really important for us if you can give us a feedback. Andrea just posted the link here in the chat. We will be also sharing an email shortly after the webinar. You will get all of these slides. You'll get the case story. You have more case stories, as I mentioned, in the website if you want to check more regarding specific integration or specific sector or field. And that's it. It's important for us that you give us feedback because so that we know what we have to improve, or if you have any suggestion or other ideas about what we should do next. And yes, the link here that you will also have in the chat. You'll also get it by email, so don't miss giving us a feedback. Thank you once again, and we'll be happy to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.